Hello, and welcome home to the X Life podcast. My name is Christine, and this is where we get to talk all things love, friendship, health, fun, and personal growth because life is too short to be unhappy. In this episode, we'll identify the top things you should stop doing when you're feeling lonely after divorce. Are you trying to cure loneliness with things that seem to only make you feel worse? What does loneliness even mean anyway? After all, loneliness isn't just the absence of others. According to Psychology Today, loneliness is the state of distress or discomfort that results when one perceives a gap between one's desires for social connection and actual experiences of it. I really like this definition because it's ever changing. The desire to be around people versus not wanting to be around anyone. What does loneliness mean to you? You may find that loneliness shows up in many different forms and means something different to everyone, depending on their circumstances. Reflecting on that and understanding all the ways that loneliness can show up right now in your life can free you to start down a new and exciting path, rather than potentially repeating old patterns and even making unhealthy choices. When I think back to the time when I had made the difficult decision to separate and divorce, I had an array of emotions that could change like that. I'd be excited and positive one minute, and then the next minute I'd feel depressed and really lonely. Truthfully, no one can see what you're going through on the inside, and everyone has a different experience. As we go through these, you may see yourself in one, many, or all of them. But keep watching because some may really surprise you. Now let's get to the top things to stop doing when you're feeling lonely. Number 1, isolating. You don't leave the house except for the bare necessities. You don't talk to anyone. You don't return phone calls. You don't communicate with loved ones. You're basically sinking further into yourself. You're like enveloped in sadness, depression, and all the negative feels. While that's okay for a little while, staying in that place for too long will only make it that much harder to climb out. Not that you're that concerned with that right at this moment. But instead, maybe try talking to someone, a really close friend, or even a therapist. Maybe start to move your body a little bit, even if it's just walking around your neighborhood, either by yourself, your dog, or you could have a friend join you. Kill two birds with one stone, a little friend time, a little movement. If solo, grab AirPods and maybe listen to fun, relaxing music, maybe a podcast, or consider leaving them behind and just enjoying the sounds of nature. It doesn't even have to be a marathon walk. It can just be you getting out, moving your body a little bit, and then you might find that you're feeling really good and an hour flies by. I know that's happened to me. Plus, you're getting steps, you're improving your health and mental status all at the same time. So I found this interesting. Dr. Andrew Huberman, a neurobiologist, states, first, that morning walk calms me through something called optic flow. Self-generated optic flow, by walking, running, or cycling, shifts the brain into a state of relaxation that's not seen when you're stationary. When you move through a space and you're active, there's a natural calming of the brain, circuits involved in threat and threat detection. When you're working at a computer, your eyes aren't moving. What you see is two-dimensional and fixed in space. Creating optic flow is the direct opposite of what most people are doing all day. Dr. Huberman notes that creating optic flow reduces stress in the same way that EMDR, eye movement therapy, used to treat PTSD, can heal trauma. I found that so interesting. Now, if you're a gym person and you just haven't felt like it lately, it might be time to get back to it. I mean, I really don't enjoy working out, but what I love is the endorphins after I'm done working out because I feel better about myself. I actually feel healthy. I don't feel like a slug. And it may actually start to help you emerge from your little bubble. Number 2, escaping. Now, this is a huge area that it can include food, liquor, drugs, looser inhibitions, TV, as in you've given the phrase Netflix and chill a new meaning, gaming, social media, or simply no longer adulting. Like you're not paying your bills, you're not taking care of your house, you're not going to work maybe. Anything to numb the pain and stop thinking. I don't really have to tell you why these behaviors are super unhealthy, especially if taken to excess or even combining more than one. While it may be difficult to imagine right now, there are people in this world that do care about you. The urge to escape and play with fire can feel very tempting, but I'd urge you to put your safety first, especially if you decide to jump on Tinder, you're meeting random guys in bars. Either can be dangerous both physically and emotionally. Hookups can temporarily provide you with the company you might be seeking, but after the time is over and they're long gone, you could find yourself feeling even lonelier than you did before. And on top of that, you're beating yourself up for making a bad choice. Just remember to always trust your gut, and if something feels off, get out of there. And definitely let someone know where you are. Right now, it's so easy to do that. You can share your location, you can drop a pin, you can do all those things with your close friends. And that's great if something comes up and you need help. As an alternative to escaping into food or alcohol, maybe try subbing out some of the unhealthy with healthier versions. And maybe try making them at home. Grab some pizza dough and make your favorite pizza any way you want it with fresh ingredients. Or get seltzer and make like a mocktail rather than drinking all that alcohol. Think of all the money you'll save too. Number 3, gossiping. This refers to spreading information about your ex to basically, anyone that will listen. Maybe even putting them on blast on social media. Unfortunately, this not only puts them in a bad light, but it may also not reflect well on you. Unless these are close friends and confidants, this could backfire if people think you're taking it too far. Remember, they don't know your ex and they don't know your relationship like you do. Gossiping in this way could really make your audience feel very uncomfortable, feeling like they're in the middle, or even worse, they might feel that they have to defend your ex, which I'm sure you do not want to hear that. As they say, loose lips sink ships. So, I know you have a lot to say and you have a lot of strong feelings, but maybe try a healthier approach to get that all out. And grab a journal, a piece of paper, write everything down. Consider writing a letter to your ex. I would not mail that. Don't mail it. Just keep it or burn it even, safely, of course. We don't want you burning the house down as well. And if you're spiritual, maybe try praying or going to a place of worship. The important thing is to get it out. And I know I keep harping on this, but I'm a big fan of the recorder on the phone. Just talking, getting it out of your system is so helpful. Number 4, obsessing. Haven't we all been there? A bad breakup where you feel driven to the point of insanity. You don't even recognize yourself. It's almost like you're a different person. Constantly thinking about your ex, stalking them on social, or maybe even in person. sending them tons of texts or emails, DMs, maybe even creating a fake account because they've already blocked you from their regular accounts. So you've found another way to get through. I totally get it. I've been pushed to some of these myself. In fact, I will take you back to a story long before social media. Well, most social media. And I was dating this person, and we'd been going out for, oh gosh, I'm trying to think, 5 months. And we had this regular routine. Every Friday, we both would be working, and we would meet at this bar restaurant to have dinner. And I had been communicating with him all day, no changes, nothing unusual. And I left to go meet him at this place. And I get there, he's not there. Very weird, because he works closer to this place. I call him on the phone, no answer. 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 You get the idea. So I'm in my car and I'm thinking, okay. And you're like thinking everything's fine. Is something wrong? Maybe he stopped here. So I drove around to a couple different places just to see if I could find him. Now, he lived an hour away from me, and I was actually thinking of driving to his house. And I am freaking out. Luckily, I decide not to do that. I decide to drive home. And in my email inbox was a Dear Jane letter. Not Dear John, Dear Jane. Because I'm a girl. Yeah, he broke up with me over email. Anyway, but that literally is one of those situations where you feel driven to insanity because there's no explanation, and you feel like a crazy person because you're like, where is my boyfriend? And they've ditched you, like ghosted, done, it's over. Anyway, the moral of the story is it's really hard to feel proud of yourself when you're acting like a person you don't even recognize. Really consider how these actions are continuing to keep the pain and hurt in the forefront of your mind and preventing you from moving on. Also, more than likely, you're just doing harm to yourself, because I've always gone with the thought of, I don't want to see or want him to see that he's gotten the best of me. I don't want him to take me down. So I would start breaking these bad habits by blocking and muting your ex, first of all. Or you might even have to go to the extent of blocking mutual friends or friends who think they have good intentions by telling you about your ex's every movement. You do not need that right now. Temporarily just mute that person, because you need, explain to them, you need to move on, and you need to take a break from this type of behavior. And if they can't respect that, then you're going to have to separate yourself from this person so you can find some peace. And if you've been obsessing pretty hard, I know this may be a hard step, but maybe pretend that you no longer care, and sooner or later you actually won't. It goes back to that fake it or make it philosophy. Fake it till you make it. Number 5, trash talking yourself. This one is basically the exact opposite of the ones before this. Instead of taking out all of your hurt feelings on your ex, you're actually berating yourself. So many negative thoughts, and you may even take on all the blame. And conveniently just forget any part that your ex played in all of this. Thinking you're the one at fault, that you're a bad person, you deserve all the shame you feel. Well, it's simply not true. It takes 2 to be in a relationship, so even if you ended it, don't make yourself the bad guy here. The reality is, sometimes no matter what you do, 2 people grow apart, or you change, or you really weren't the right fit in the first place, and you really just forced that round peg into a square hole. So I've done this. Instead of treating yourself like a punching bag, maybe try beating on a punching bag. I mean, seriously, I remember doing a program called P90X3, and the 3 just means that it's a lot shorter. It was 30-minute workouts. But one of the workouts was MMA, mixed martial arts. So it involved kicking, boxing, hitting, like all those mixed martial arts moves. And I really found it therapeutic. It was so good to get all that energy out, that bad energy. So maybe try that. And maybe pretend you're hitting your ex instead of the air. So it's very cathartic. And as they say, treat yourself like you would treat a friend. Be your own friend and give yourself some understanding and grace while you're dealing with your pain. Number 6, resigning. Basically, you feel like you'll always be alone. Your life won't get any better. Your good days are behind you. You have no life because your ex is gone and you're alone, and that'll never change. You probably don't recognize this new person. Like, who are you now without your partner? You may not even remember what you like. Well, now's the time to rediscover all those things. It's like taking that molded piece of clay, like on the pottery wheel. Yeah, I know, we're thinking about Ghost, but minus Patrick Swayze. And just crushing it. Crushing it so you can build it back up and make something new. And make it the you that you want to be now. Remember, if you're at the bottom, the only way forward is up, starting with a clean slate. All is definitely not lost. It's just a matter of finding yourself in whatever new life you want. Number 7, overcommitting to work. Basically anything and everything that keeps you busy 24/7 so you have no time to think or feel. After all, if you stay busy, you're okay, right? No one will think that you're hurt, that you're devastated, that he got the best of you, that you're not okay. It's like you're great, right? It's like Finding Nemo with Dory.
Keep swimming, just keep swimming.
And if you remember that movie, she got lost. So inevitably, that's usually what happens in these situations, is you just keep swimming, you just keep staying busy, but you're lost because you're not addressing how you're feeling. And eventually you're going to burn out. So while this can help you avoid some of the negative behaviors we've already talked about, it really is important that you stop swimming and you start to address what is going on. It's important to slow down and just be quiet with yourself. Let the feelings come. Cry. Like, get it all out, because there is something very cathartic about a good cry. I mean, you can actually feel yourself afterward, like, loosening up and feeling a lot less tension. You feel like you're letting go of whatever it is you're holding in. Reading is also another way to get quiet and relax. You could also try meditation or breath work. When I've tried that, it's actually been remarkable, the kind of thoughts and feelings that are brought out. And it's released at that point. So you deserve that. Number 8, neglecting yourself. Simply put, it's like wearing loneliness like a Harry Potter invisible cloak. You're not getting dressed. You're living in PJs and a robe. You can't remember the last time you took a shower and washed your hair. It's sticking out in multiple directions. You probably can't even get a brush through it at this point. Your house is a mess. It's littered with all kinds of takeout boxes from crappy food you've ordered. I mean, I get it. We've all been here where we just fall apart. We want to fall apart. And, I mean, it just happens. We just dwell in this area. But, unfortunately, like, have you ever heard of the phrase, dress for the job that you want? This situation is not too different. And the only way to turn this around is to actually act and do the things that you don't want to do, so you will feel better afterward. So here's what I want you to try for one day. Like, one day, act like you're getting ready for a really fun night out. Take your time, put some music on. We go back to my music thing. I really love music. And put on your favorite music, anything that gets you energized, because there are plenty of times when I'm getting ready and I don't feel like it. So I put music on and it completely changes how I feel. So what would you do when you're getting ready? And maybe light a candle, maybe make a little drink. Like, think about taking your time, taking a shower, blow drying your hair, putting on makeup, fixing your hair. You've picked out a comfortable but a really nice outfit that you feel good in. You feel attractive. And I'm not saying you even have to go anywhere, but the way that you feel will definitely change after doing all this. Now, if this is just too much, where you're like, whoa, no way, can't do that, don't care, don't want to, no, that's too much effort. Maybe compromise and think about taking a relaxing bath. Add a shower bomb or a bath bomb, and maybe light candles, lavender, aromatherapy, and just sit back, put on some relaxing music, and voila, you will feel refreshed and clean all at the same time. By the way, if part of this is that you have no one to care for because your kids are at your ex's house, consider maybe getting a pet. It doesn't have to be a lot. You could simply get a fish, something small, or if you love dogs and you can care for a dog, you can go adopt a dog or even a cat from the shelter, because goodness knows they're looking for a home just as much as you're looking to cure your loneliness and feel more at home. So, number 9, not forgiving either yourself or your partner. This is a tough one, and I'm not going to lie, it will take some time. But it's truly something that will help lift the burden of carrying all those heavy and negative emotions. After all, who is really suffering here? Usually it's the person carrying the anger, bitterness, and holding on to the past, and even replaying all the ways that your ex hurt you. As much as you'd like to think that this person is thinking about you too, they're probably just moving on with their life. As hard as it is, releasing this hold on you by actually forgiving them, I didn't say forget, will free up so much tension and unease in your soul. If forgiveness isn't possible right away, you could still try to break the pattern. When you start to feel yourself wallowing in those harmful feelings, do something immediately to interrupt those feelings. Like Tony Robbins talks about, change your body and you change your state. And what he means is literally, like, he uses a lot of, bursts of movement. You can literally just get up off the couch, walk around your house. You can literally walk quickly. You can jog around your house. You can just do anything, like changing your facial features. You're probably in a steady frown right now. Try to smile. It's hard to be in a bad mood when you're smiling. Try it. I know you don't feel like it, but if you try it, you'll start to feel better. There's something that happens inside of you. He is right. Like, you can even, this is something that he suggested in a training I took part in, but when you're trying to make yourself feel a certain way, it's like you stand in that kind of posture. Stand in a strong posture. Think of yourself like a superhero, like Wonder Woman. Because it's silly, but it actually works. So, and remember, you're not doing this. You're not forgiving him for him. You're forgiving him for you. And so you feel better. Number 10, hesitating. So you actually are feeling like you're ready to go back out into the world, meet new people, and find a new friend group that isn't full of couples and also doesn't constantly bring up memories of your ex. But you don't know quite how to make that first step or even what new things are out there that might interest you. Well, that leads us into the next episode, which is all about friendships. Figuring out how to navigate old friendships that may feel awkward and uncomfortable, as well as figuring out if and how to make new friends at this time in your life. So go hit play, and I'll share all the juicy tidbits to help you with those relationships.